Hello, I wanted to share with you a project that I've started. I'm trying to make an AI powered agent, and it's going to involve a couple of steps, at least the first go at my AI powered agent. And I wanted to share the first step. I'm pretty excited about this, and I hope this is interesting and perhaps useful to you as well. So I'm gonna use OpenAI and their GPT 3.5 turbo model to sort facts about a person in increasing order of importance. Okay, so I wanted to show you quickly how you can use OpenAI. So if you go to openai.com, you log in, you will get to this page. If you didn't register, you'll need to register. You'll make a password. You'll log in with a password. It'll get you to this page, and you click on the API link. And then up at the top right, you click on personal. And then you can click on view API keys right here. I'm trying to highlight it so that you can see. And then you'll get to this. Here are your API keys. You can create a new API key with this create new secret key button, which I'm not going to create a new key, but there it is. That's how you do it. When you create the key, you can copy the key and you can paste it into this line right here. All right. And you'll paste it right here instead of these stars. Of course, I'm not going to show you my API key because I don't want you to use my API. But there you go. Everything else I can show you. So I'm running OpenAI through Jupyter Notebook, which runs Python. You'll need to pip install OpenAI. That's this line right here at the top. And then after that, you'll need to import OpenAI. And then you're ready to go. Now, I'm going to try to sort, my code is going to sort this list of facts about a man. This man is 25 years old. He's a man. He is from Germany. His name is Bob. He lives alone. He has a German Shepherd named Pug. He is a software engineer. His favorite color is green. He likes to jog. And he has 4 siblings, 2 older brothers, Al and George, and an older sister, Anne. And a younger sister, Mary. These are just random facts I made up about a random non-existing person. Okay, and so here I wrote a little function that determines importance of 2 facts. It ranks 2 facts based on importance, and it turns out in order to sort something, you just need to be able to rank 2 of that something. Think of this as a greater than or equal to function for 2 facts. Is fact 1 greater than or equal to fact 2 in importance? Now, if you want this to be a function that sorts things by some other quality, such as, positivity, for instance, is fact 1 more positive than fact 2, then you would just change the prompt slightly to reflect that. And let me read to you the prompt that I give GPT 3.5 Turbo. So you can see right here, I use the model GPT 3.5 Turbo. First, I guess if you want, you can take a screenshot of this if you want to try it yourself. But I'm going to read to you the prompt. So you give GPT 3.5 Turbo a prompt to the system that kind of tells GPT 3.5 Turbo that it should act in a certain way. My prompt to the system is, you are an assistant tasked solely with the job of determining which facts are more or less important about an individual. You will be given some example facts and rankings. You will use these examples to rank some new facts. For processing purposes, it is very important that you provide your answers in the same exact way as the examples. Okay? I found this to work pretty well. And then I in the next prompt, in the next line of the prompt, I say, okay, the user says, I want you to rank some facts about an individual by importance. Here are some example rankings and explanations. And then the next 4 lines, I give some example facts and explanations. For instance, I am 34 years old is fact 1, and I live alone is fact 2. And I give an example answer. 1 is more important than 2 because the age of the person tells me more about their lifestyle than whether they live alone or not. Okay? And I truly think that I am 34 years old is a more important fact about a person than whether they live alone or not. And I give another example about favorite color versus liking to jog. In this case, liking to jog I deem as the more important fact. I give 2 examples because I find that for weaker models, it's important you give an example where the first fact is more important than the second, and where the second fact is more important than the first. That way the model doesn't decide that the first fact is always going to be the most important fact. But models like 3.5 Turbo, they're powerful enough to not make such silly mistakes. So that might not be exactly necessary. And in the last line, I pass in fact 1, and I'm going to take the passed in fact that is used in the function call, and I'm going to substitute it in for fact 1, and I'm going to take fact 2 that's passed in and substitute it into 2. And then I ask the assistant to give me an answer, which one's more important. I start the assistant's answer with A : space, and I expect the assistant to write either 1 or 2, depending on which fact they deem to be more important. I also expect the assistant to provide an explanation, and the reason why is because, especially weaker models, they tend to do better if you ask them for an explanation. They give more consistent answers. Okay? And now the real magic happens in this heap sort algorithm. So I asked GPT, or I asked Colab AI from Google to write me a heap sort algorithm. And typically heap sort is used to sort integers, but you can substitute whatever comparator you want that can compare whatever you want. And in this case, what I do is I use the heap sort algorithm, but instead of comparing integers with my comparator, I compare facts with my comparator. And so here you can take a screenshot if you want. Comparator 2. Comparator 2 is the comparator I use to compare facts. I have this parameter called numComps, and the reason why I use this parameter is if you want a more stable comparison, you'll want to run GPT 3.5. You'll want to run determine importance multiple times on the same facts, and you'll find that sometimes GPT 3.5 says one fact is better than the other, and sometimes it says the other fact is better than the one. And I just take I run it GPT 3.5 multiple times and take the most commonly reported answer as being the comparison. So this gives me a more stable comparison. Now, if you don't want to run GPT 3.5 a lot of times, then you can set numComps to 1, and it'll just run it once for every comparison. Okay? All right, so you could take a screenshot of the heap sort algorithm. This is it. This is all the heap sort algorithm does. And now we're ready. Let me see, let's make sure I ran this code. Yes, I ran determine comparator. And I also ran the heap sort line. And now this is it. If we run 18, we'll see that there's some comparisons being made. There's going to be about 50 comparisons. 2 is more important than 1 because it provides specific information about the individual's family structure and relationships, which can give insight into their upbringing and dynamics within their family. Knowing that they have 4 siblings and the names of each sibling provides more valuable information compared to simply knowing that they live alone. So in this first comparison, they were comparing the fact about siblings to whether they lived alone, and they, what I deem to be as correctly, determined that the information about siblings is more important than whether they live alone or not. In the second comparison, we do the same thing, and we deem that okay, and so on and so forth. I think this is going to run. You see, sometimes you'll see, usually the response is very consistent. The first character gives you the most important fact, but sometimes there's some weird response the GPT 3.5 gives, like this, for instance. Both facts are equally important, cannot be ranked. So this, my comparator function is going to return a 0 if that's the case, if it can't determine what the solution was. For instance, this right here, this also is kind of a weird response from GPT 3.5. But for the most part, they're pretty standard responses that are easy to parse. You just take the first character, and if it's a 2, then fact 2 is more important. If it's a 1, fact 1 is more important. Okay? And so we run this, and it takes about 2 minutes to sort this list of 10 facts, which is a bit of a long time, but once it's done, in this run, we've determined that I am a software engineer is the most important fact. I am 25 years old is the second most important fact. I am from Germany is the third most important fact. My favorite color is green, and so on and so forth. I'm a man. This seems reasonable, although I think my name is Bob would be pretty important. I wouldn't put that as the least important. I would put my favorite color is green as not very important, probably. And I have 4 siblings and 2 older brothers and stuff as more important. Okay, now I do want to show you something. And that's, if you were to run this again, this took about a minute, it'll actually give you a different ranking. And I think this is okay, right? Because think about it. If you asked a person to rank facts about another person, and you ask them again 30 minutes later, they're probably going to give you a different ranking, because certain facts are subjective. The rankings of certain facts are kind of subjective. It's very subjective, so it's fine. It's okay, really, that some rankings, that the rankings aren't consistent from run to run. So, but that's something to keep in mind. You're gonna want you're going to want to prepare for that in your coding. So every run is gonna give you a different ranking, but you hope that that ranking is gonna be something that's believable or usable. Let's see. I wasn't too happy with the previous ranking. To be honest, that was probably the least believable ranking I've ever seen from this code. So let's see if this gives a more reasonable ranking. Here's a ranking that I had before. The facts were slightly different. The person was a woman named Alice. But otherwise everything was exactly the same. There were some errors: 5 siblings, 2 older brothers, an older sister and a younger sister. That's 4 siblings, not 5 siblings. Okay. So there's 2 things that I'd want to fix. Okay. If we look at this now we see that now we've deemed the relationship to the siblings is the most important, that this person's a man is the second most important, that he's 25 years old is the third most, and I am a software engineer is the fourth most. I have run this a couple of times, and I do find that the top 4 most important typically tend to be about the same. For instance, in this case, in the top 4, I am a man, I'm 25 years old, and I'm a software engineer, and that's consistent with the previous run. And then other things like my favorite color is green, I like to jog, I live alone. I am from Germany. Those are like less important, seems like, and lower in the list of importance. I would say my name is Bob is kind of important. It's not really an important aspect of a person, but it is important to remember. Okay, yeah, so there you go. Hopefully this helped. Now, another useful function that you might want is you might want to be able to take an arbitrary dialogue and to summarize facts that you learn from the dialogue. And this is a lot easier to do than sorting a list of facts. And so I wanted to give you an example of that before I go. And thank you for your time so far. And we're almost done. Just bear with me a little bit more. So I have this function, summarize into facts. I take a text. Again, I'll pass in print result and set it equal to true as a parameter, so that if you want the result printed, you can print it for debugging purposes. If you don't want to print it, just set that to false and it won't print. Go ahead and take a screenshot if you'd like. And so let me explain the prompt that I use. It's just something I came up with, and you feel free to come up with your own prompt that you think it might do better. Again, I have a system, and to the system I say, you're an assistant tasked solely with the job of summarizing critical information from a conversation about two participants. If the conversation reveals important details about the participants, these details will be summarized, otherwise you will provide no details. The user will provide some examples that involve text and its summarization. You are to always follow the user's examples, providing your answers in the same format. Okay, that's my description to the system. And then my user gives some examples. So first line of the user is, I want you to summarize the key facts about both individuals in the conversation I'm about to provide to you. I will give you a couple of examples to get you going. So example 1, the first example, user, again, still user. Person A, hi, how are you? New line, person B, I'm good, how are you? New line, person A, I'm good too. Can I ask you your name? New line, person B, my name is Alice, what's your name? New line, person A, my name is Nick. Tell me a little bit about yourself, Alice. New line, person B, well, I'm 25 years old and I have a German Shepherd, period. What would you like to know? And so on and so forth, right? Just an example conversation between two people. And my example response is summary of person A, colon, I am Nick. Summary of person B, colon, I am Alice. I am 25 years old. I have a German Shepherd. Okay? And so that's really the only interesting information that you could have gleaned from that conversation. And, I give another example just like before. And then finally, I say the user content and just pass in the text as an input. And then as an output, I say I start the assistant with summary of person, and I expect the assistant to tell me the person name, or the person, whether it's person A or person B, and to give me some facts that they gleaned about that person from that dialogue. And so here's my example input to test my summarize into facts. Person A, hi. New line, person B, hello. Have we met? New line, person A, no, I don't think so. My name is Victoria. What's your name? New line, person B, my name is Anton. It's nice to meet you, Victoria. New line, person A, it's nice to meet you too, and so on and so forth. So what are you doing right now? New line, person B, well, I'm just getting some coffee. What about you? New line, person A, me too. Do you like coffee? And so on, and it continues, and it continues, and continues. All right. And now let's see what GPT 3.5 summarizes it to. So the output is summary of person A. My name is Victoria. I just moved into the neighborhood. Okay. Summary of person B. My name is Anton. I'm getting some coffee. I drink about 3 cups a day, and I'm not sure if this is your usual coffee shop. Wow, okay. Uh, that's a little bit more than I expected about Anton. But yeah, pretty good. So here's the idea. You can automatically get facts from a dialogue about the people, and you can make a list of those facts, and you can sort those facts, and you can remember those facts, and that's going to be critical for making an agent. Thank you guys again for all your time.